Hi, I'm Sierra with Corefact, for those of you who don't know me. And these are monthly sessions and skip December just with some scheduling conflicts there. But I try and do these on a monthly basis to give you ideas for reaching out to the agents and the people that you support, whether that's real estate agents, sometimes it's mortgage, whoever it is, so that you are empowered and feel like you've got some good ideas for presenting to them. And I try and do them pretty fast in under 20 minutes. So I actually put into chat for today's topic, what are some of the biggest challenges that real estate agents face at the beginning of the year? And chat came back with the title that you probably saw and clicked on when you registered, which was New Year, no leads. So the concept is their leads have dried up. So a lot of times that's just because, listings that or, buyers that were active the end of the year, they found their places or they changed their minds and they're having to start fresh. And then part of that is the agents haven't been working their pipeline. And so they've lost any momentum that they might have had due to the holidays. So as we all know, real estate is cyclical. Now, some of you may be in climates where the snow season is the main season or, your opposite climates. But for most of us, this is the slower time of year. And so the agents' leads just dry up. So how can we help them get their clients re-engaged, start building that pipeline and kickstart their business so that they have a prosperous spring and prosperous 2026. This is, and just for those of you as a quick refresher, if you aren't aware, this is a demo account that you can all use. And you're welcome to demo using your own account. But the beauty of this Jessica Sellers account is that it does have, if we go to the postcard section or any section with listings, it does have listings already built into it so that you can demonstrate the listing auto population. So that's what I demo with. There's a lot of mailing lists in here too, if you want to walk someone through the mailing list process, but there's just tons of content in here. If you went to go check out and place an order, you'd have to supply a credit card. So don't do that, but you can play with this, you can demo it. And that's what I'm demoing on today. So number one, let's get our agents farming consistently from day one, starting in January. We know farming works. In fact, I just saw a report. I should have pulled it up and I don't know where it is. Maybe I'll show it next month. But I just saw a report and it was put together by a photography company that's a national photography company. And they surveyed their agents to find out what kind of marketing they were all doing on a consistent basis. The number one, and of course I paid attention to this because it's near and dear to my heart, number one marketing tool that they were all using, well, not all, 47% of the top agents were using direct mail. And when I say it's the top one, the next one that they were all doing was, I think it was social media ads, and it was like 30 something percent. So not all agents, but more, close to half of the agents were doing direct mail. Why? We know it works. It's just over time and with consistency, we have seen that works. So number one is get them farming from day one. Campaigns. I cannot recommend campaigns enough. Now is the time to get them set up on campaigns so that it is going out consistently. As you know, I'm going to go through this really quickly, but just as a refresher, we have two options for campaigns. One is the elite campaign. We're going to do it for them. We are going to customize the look and feel of it. We're going to let them pick from hundreds of these little inset ads, and we're going to create a custom framework that they can use on just listed, just sold. We're going to schedule it. We're going to work on their list. We're going to do all the heavy lifting for them. All they have to do is approve and give feedback, and they're good to go. This is $3.99 one time. And that can renew year after year after year. We have had people use Elite for since it's been in existence, I don't know, 8 years now, something like that. So we've had people that have used it that entire time. One case in point is Elizabeth Avery. I think she's kind of our flagship elite member. I think she started out with maybe 300 people that were in her database, and every year, and as she's added transactions, she's added to her database, and now she does several thousand, and she's just grown her business using Elite as one of her primary resources. So get them mailing, get them consistently. And The other option we have is our Set It and Forget It campaign manager. This is the DIY free version of a campaign tool. So Elite, which we just looked at, is one that we are going to do for them. The campaign manager allows them to go and create that campaign. Now, Elite, we're going to look for 500 contacts in their database and mailing consistently once a month. We're going to lock them into that cadence and that quantity because we know from experience and best practices that it's only worth our time and their money if they're committing to that larger scale. Now, if they don't have that, kind of mailing list. They want to mail to fewer, or they want a different cadence. Maybe they want to mail more, every 6 weeks or quarterly or something like that, and they're going to sprinkle in other things. This campaign allows them to really dictate the cadence, the quantity, the duration. They could have a campaign for Q1 and just send out every 6 weeks in Q1. So, lots of different options with this campaign builder, and I'll quickly demo it. So I named it test, as you can see, and then I'm going to hit select designs, and I'm going to choose from the Corefact design library. So a great one to start with is an agent announcement piece. And then maybe I want to get into seasonal. So maybe that goes out in January. Maybe there's a Valentine's Day one that goes out in February. You get the idea. You build, and those appear over here on your right-hand side. You edit the front, you choose and edit the back, you schedule, you upload your list. More hands-on than the other version, than the Elite version, but again, allows them all that flexibility. Okay, so number one, get them started on direct mail. Number two is re-engage past clients and cold leads. So just because a lead went cold for the holidays doesn't mean we can't warm them up for the spring. So I would encourage your agents to get their list of leads that went cold. Now, if they were a seller and they sold their house, of course, that's a different situation. But if it's just they decided to put a break on their home buying or selling process because they wanted to get through the holidays, now is the time to call those cold leads, if you will, or if they prefer and they don't want to reach out directly, put them on a mailer, send them a home evaluation postcard, see if they engage with that, with the QR code and the scan to find out home values. Same thing with past clients, because past clients are going to be the best source of referrals and potential new business. So I would encourage your agents to look at their cold leads, if you will, and their past clients and create a campaign for them for Q1. Because again, those are not the ones you're necessarily going to prioritize all year long, but now's a great time to re-engage that group. Okay, then what are we sending in January? I did the agent announcement. That's kind of a default piece if someone hasn't sent to an area before. But if it's a farm that they've been working on for a while and they're not needing to introduce themselves, what we love in January and agents love, and we know it gets a lot of results, is a postcard or a mailer that we call proof of production. Okay, so this is a perfect time to do a proof of production piece. And by proof of production, we mean showing your sales, showing the people that you've worked with, a testimonial, something like that. Now, these proof of production pieces are postcards. So they're going to be limited in size and scope to, in this case, it's the 5.5 by 8.5 size. But we definitely have postcards with more real estate if we move, real estate, get it? You like my pun? We move to the different sizes. So for example, if we go to the super jumbo, which is just an 11 by 5 3/4, we might be able to fit more in. For example, this one has 6, this one has 8 over here. And if we jump up even bigger to our mailers and newsletters, now we're getting into the really impressive sales portfolio or quarterly sales portfolios. And we see a lot of our committed top producing agents will take this time of year to send these pieces out. And they're impressive. They look impressive. They show that even during 2025 was a crazy year for a lot of our clients and yours too. Maybe not the best year. So those that had production, those that were busy, let's talk about it. Let's show. I think these are great tools. They love it. The clients love it. So I think these are great pieces to send out. These are specifically branded for the new year, as you can see. They have New Year designs on them. So these I think are great pieces to send out. Okay, what if they don't have the budget to send out something really big? If we want to take a step back and look at something a little more budget friendly, and maybe they want to save on postage, a lot of those pieces, the biggest expense doesn't go to Corefact, it goes to the postal system because it is expensive. Stamps are and mailing's expensive. So if we totally shift and look at door hangers, this is a great way to just be more cost effective, but still get your name out into a neighborhood. And I'm in California, so door knocking is still very much an option this time of year, depending on the climate that you're in. It may not be as much of an option, but consider where your agents are and your geography there. But again, you can send out, or they can send out these, not send out, walk about these pieces and still promote listings that they've had and sales that they've had, but save on the postage. If we look at the pricing here, for example, if they're sending out, let's say they've got, I know my neighborhood has 800 homes. So if I were ordering for my neighborhood, it'd be 56 cents a piece, a lot less costly than to mail to those 800. Okay, but what if they don't have listings? We still need to get them out and communicating and building up their pipeline, right? So, what's the thing that we encourage agents to send out if they don't have any listings? Number one is a market update. Okay, so maybe it's not their activity, but it's maybe the activity that is happening in their neighborhood. So, what sold in Q4? What sold in December, what's happening in their market. We have a whole section here under postcards for market updates. And this one, they would actually type in the sales that they want to appear. But this is, again, a very powerful piece. And they're not necessarily representing that they sold them. They're just saying these are the sales that are happening in their neighborhood that they're sending out to. Something I wanted to share, as you probably know or are aware, we've been working with Glenda Baker. She is an influencer and a real estate agent in the Atlanta, Georgia area. And I put on my little outfit today and noticed it had stars on it. And I was like, oh, Glenda would like this because she's very much about themed, and stars are kind of her go-to theme. But one thing that she did, and I thought it was really interesting, and we all kind of talked about this. We were all at Twitter inside Corefact because we're like, wow, what an interesting marketing piece. But one thing that she did towards the end of last year, and I'll share with you, is she did the top 10 or top 5, whatever it was, sales in her area that she focuses on for the year. So these are the top, by price. These are the top 5 sales in the area. We're like, huh, that's interesting. We hadn't seen that before. And again, not representing that she had been the one to sell them, but just to, and I believe she did get permission from those agents to mention those or show those. And it was a big fold out piece. It wasn't, a little snapshot like this. But I thought, what an interesting piece to send out to talk about the market. So I'll just plant that seed with you if that would be helpful to share with your agents. The last thing I was just going to encourage, and I talked about this a little bit already, but it is just setting up systems for the new year. So getting them re-engaged, getting them, thinking about building that pipeline up. Campaigns certainly are the way to go because it allows them to make sure that something is going out consistently. Now, of course, market activity is going to be something you can't necessarily schedule in advance. So you wouldn't be able to schedule a market update piece to go out, in October right now because we don't know what's going to happen. But if it's more seasonal or, something that we know is going to be relevant at that time, why not schedule it now? We have the direct mail campaigns, as you saw. We also have, and this is in the Jessica Sellers account, another reason that you may want to demo using this account. We also have the social share ability to schedule out. So social share is our social media content, library, and scheduling tool. We have over 2,000 designs that can be customized in this section, and everything from promoting listings to more seasonal pieces to engagement pieces. I mean, you name it. Just to show you a sampling, if I type in the term January, let's see what comes up. I mean, we've got Trivia Day. I guess we missed that. We've got Lunar New Year coming up. National Plan for Vacation Day. That's a fun one. I mean, I'm looking at this for the first time with you. Get to know your customers day. Okay, that's an interesting one. Cut your energy cost day. Cute dog. Happy New Year, we missed. Free entrance to National Parks Day coming up. Okay, so you get the idea. There's a ton of stuff in here, and these are great, vibrant, eye-catching designs. These are not going to replace the agent's authentic, one-on-one photographs or videos. This is to supplement that. Or for agents that are really dipping their toes into social media and haven't really posted anything yet and aren't maybe comfortable showing themselves quite yet, this allows them content that they can use and keep in front of their social media client base with some really great designs. And you can see that their logo will populate to this when they go to customize it. And once they've edited and scheduled these, if they've connected their accounts, we can post to any combination of their LinkedIn, X, Facebook, and Instagram accounts at a single time. And they can schedule these out using the calendar. So they could go and have a whole calendar. They could do this now and have it set for the entire year. So that is a great system that they could put in place. And if they're not using Corefact for their social media, that's okay too. They can use whatever system they want. One thing I wanted to share, and if you're interested, I'm not sure how I can include this in this recording. I can send it as an attachment as a follow-up. But this is a worksheet that it's a PDF. They can fill it in online, or they can print it out and handwrite it in, depending if they're more digital or they like the old school paper. But this is a for their social media planning. This allows them to go in and really schedule out their posts for the year. We give them different ideas. Here are those corresponding holidays and special interests. And this is for the entire year. And you can share this with them as a worksheet that they can use to really just put those systems in place for social media. The last system that I'll share, and we'll wrap up here in 1 minute, we're trying to get it here under 20 minutes. Our AI assistant has new pricing. So we launched this beginning of December, and we had feedback from many of you that they love the idea, but they weren't sure agents had the money for how we had set up the pricing. So we reconfigured how we're offering it. The pricing now, and it doesn't show it here because this Jessica Sellers account already has access, I believe, but the pricing now is going to start at $29.99 a month. So much more accessible to the agents. I think we were, closer to $100 a month when we first launched it, and we were giving them more time and more assistance. Now we're just going to give them one assistant and less time, but we're going to allow them to dip their toes in and get started. They also get 2 free weeks of trying it out to see if it's right for them. And if they want to cancel before that 2-week time period, they won't be charged, but then only $30 moving forward. So I'm not going to get into the AI assistant today. We do have webinars on that coming up. They're also posted on our YouTube channel. So with that, that is the end of my content for today. Stay on. If you have questions, I'll check the questions section. And happy January, happy New Year. Thanks for being here, and hope this helps give you some ideas of what to talk to your agents about. Thanks, everyone.